we are back. I think we all know what the big story here is. The wild card game. Matthew Stafford. Oh, he's never won a playoff game. He's a lion. The Rams are gutless. The Cardinals were 8-1 on the road. The amount of bullcrap that was said about this matchup. Dum-dums. We got a lot of dum-dums talking football. How'd that turn out? Yeah, well, all of that prologue. Stats tell you what has happened, not what's going to happen. And the Rams storm past the Cardinals 34-11. They never trailed. Winning with ease from soup to nuts. And now, a date in Tampa Bay. The Buccaneers, defending champs, divisional round, a team that the Rams have done very well against in the last couple of matchups. So we'll see if that continues, but that is what has happened. That doesn't guarantee anything. And we will have plenty more on a glorious, complete team win for LA. A tough night for the Trolls. Let's all say a prayer for the Trolls as they go back into hiding. I know they say they'll be back soon. As I predicted, the Rams win a playoff game with Matthew Stafford, and the yabbit crowd comes back. Well, yabbit, beat the Bucs. Yabbit. That's nothing. It's a wild card game. Yabbit. Cardinals were hurt. Yabbit. All right, but I am going to be true to my fundamentals. All right, the big fundamental when it comes to sports radio. I do believe the better story is in the losing locker room. If you've listened to me over the years, you know that I believe in that. And so let's get into it. The demise of Arizona. Who could have seen this coming? Now, I'm not here to do a victory lap and take a bow. But I believe there was somebody at this company when the Cardinals got off to a 7-0 start and were the toast of the NFL, the chef's kiss for the Cardinals. 7-0. Top of the world. And now they have been unceremoniously excommunicated from the playoffs. A lot of finger pointing going on right now. That's why that's a better story. The losing locker room. Over on the Rams side, everyone's patting each other on the ass saying how great they are. They're smelling each other. On the Cardinals side, it's you suck, you blow, all of that. Right? Playing the blame game. And so let's play the blame game. I believe the bullseye should be squarely pointed at Alligator Arms Murray. So let us discuss the question. Serious question. Do the Cardinals have a Kyler Murray problem? And the answer is a nuclear meltdown, radioactive. This is obvious. You don't need some blowhard on the radio to tell you this. Anybody with functioning senses can tell you this guy's not the guy. Kyler Murray's not the guy. It's kind of like if you've ever been to a Hollywood set. In the early days of Fox Sports Radio, I had access to the Fox lot on Pico in West LA. It's before 9/11, a long time ago. I had free run of the place. And I would spend hours before the security lockdown after September 11th, many years ago. And I would run around the back lot, and I had a field day. You know, all the New York backdrops, all the big city backdrops, they were all fake. They all looked like, big cities, and then you walk behind them, and they were just lumber. That's Kyler Murray in a nutshell. So I've got lifeguard, VIP seat, and poker face. And we'll put all these things together, and that will be the foundation of this Mallard monologue. So to kick off, Kyler Murray played like he was punch drunk. All right? You never know how a young quarterback is going to perform under the supposed immense pressure of the postseason until they get the chance. For example, Joe Burrow played pretty well against the Raiders. I think Burrow could play better, but he played pretty well. Kyler Murray, I don't know that he could play worse. This was nightmare fuel for the Cardinal franchise. They put all their chips in the little basket for Kyler Murray. How's that working out? All the hype, the dynamic skill set, changing the game for the little guy, the Oompa Loompa. Kyler Murray was an abject failure in his first playoff game. The Mallard report card says F- for Kyler Murray. I loved every second. The moment was too big. Kyler Murray was manhandled by the Ram defense. What we saw in this game from Kyler Murray was utter incompetence. Kyler was literally drowning on primetime television. He was drowning from flop sweat, and there was no lifeguard on duty. Game was very anticlimactic as the game was over early. The Rams never trailed. The domination, clearly the better team. And Kyler Murray guilty of truancy. The first half, I have to go back and look, but you'd be hard-pressed to find a first half in an NFL playoff game in good conditions. It's a dome, even though the NFL says it's not a dome. SoFi Stadium. It's got a roof on it. Where I come from, where I was raised, that's a dome. The NFL says it's not. But perfect weather conditions for football, no snow, but outside of a bad weather game, I believe you will not find a more of a stink bomb performance than Alligator Arms Murray put up in the first half of this game. You know, I've taken some shots at him over the years, but even I did not anticipate that level of suckage from the little fella. I mean, 7 of 17. 7 of 17. That's a 41% completion rate. Remember, most good quarterbacks complete about 70. How about this? Alligator Arms Murray had 28 yards passing in the first 30 minutes of football. He averaged, this is the most amazing stat, 1.6 yards per pass attempt. Obviously, no touchdowns. Arizona didn't score. 2 interceptions, including the Carson Wentz special. The I'm in the end zone. I might give up a safety. Let me chuck it while I'm falling down to give up a full pick six. Ta-da! That's exactly what happened. Kyler Murray's passer rating was 9.3 at halftime. To say that he was raggedy, to say that he was weak in the knees, understatement. Now, furthermore, this playoff game is not a one-off. Some will say, well, it was just a bad day, and they didn't have this guy, that guy, the other guy, eeny, meeny, mighty, mo. Play all the excuses. But I would argue this continues a trend. The Cardinals need to follow the teachings of Ice Cube. Better check yourself before you wreck yourself, your entire franchise. Kyler Murray, you know what this guy is? I figured it out. I had an epiphany watching Kyler Murray in another terrible performance after the midway point of the season. Kyler Murray's a sprinter. He's not a marathon runner. The problem is the NFL's designed for the marathon. And people get hornswoggled, bamboozled, and led astray because Murray gets off to good starts. And then he folds up like a beach chair. How many times in a row does this have to happen? Now, Murray had a VIP seat in the cockpit of the Vomit Comet in the second half of the season. After a 7-0 start, now Murray got hurt, but he was a pee-wee level quarterback. The guy, we've said it for a long time, he looks like a glitch. You watch an NFL game with Kyler Murray, and you're like, who let the Pop Warner All-Star in? Why is that guy play? He's so much smaller than everybody else. The final 8 games Kyler Murray played, including the playoffs, this year, including the playoff game, 7 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. He averaged 6.5 yards per attempt, had a passer rating of 81.1. That's like a college radio station, 81.1. That's over 8 weeks. That's not 1 or 2 bad games. That is the entire last part of the schedule that he played in. Stink, 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 stank. And we saw similar downward numbers the second half in 2020 and 2019. Kyler's got a future in Hollywood. They remake The Incredible Shrinking Man. The Alligator Arms Murray story. All right, last thing here. So while Kyler does deserve the bulk of the blame and Arizona should start looking around at other options, he's not alone wearing the shame bell in the Grand Canyon State. Should Cliff Kingsbury be on the hot seat? I am nodding my head yes. Kingsbury has been exposed. He's been exposed. The guy's a fraud, right? And Kyler's part of it, but this is a guy going back to college. He had Patrick Mahomes and couldn't win. Patrick Mahomes at Texas Tech couldn't win. Reminds me of, I used to hear stories about Dean Smith, Michael Jordan. They used to tell this joke. The only guy who could stop Michael Jordan was Dean Smith, who wouldn't play him and limit him when he was at North Carolina back in the day. But Cliff Kingsbury, what more do you need to see? What more do you need to hear if you're blind? By any measurement, it's cover your eyes bad. Kingsbury is verkakta, right? The Cardinals provided a map that they have given us before. They proved to be total fraudulent football players. And this is a fraudulent coach. Again, I go back to the 7-0 start, which was on a wing and a prayer. Should have lost to the Vikings. Should have, could have, would have, week 2. But went 4-6 the rest of the season. They get smoked by Matthew Stafford. Everyone told me this guy blows. Stafford. Didn't look like it. Looked pretty good to me. In the wild card game, everyone said, the Cardinals are a better team. Really? Cliff Kingsbury, he's got a really bad poker face. What he has done is built. He can write the manual on how to build a soft football team. It is a house of cards that come tumbling down. The numbers don't lie. You know, I go through them, and we'll do that in a little bit, but there are teams that are designed for the long haul, and then there's a Cliff Kingsbury coach team. The social media breaks during team meetings to update the Instagram and TikTok, the juice box intermissions during practice. Kingsbury's trying to win friends. He's not good at winning football games late in the year. He's not. You need to build a little bit of grit, toughness, a little moxie. Arizona has none of those things. They're a gutless operation, right? They're a spineless operation. And they should try to get a real coach that will actually put some toughness on the Cardinals. And now, I hope they don't. I'm biased towards the Rams. I hope they give Kingsbury an extension. But if I was a neutral arbitrator, I would say this guy's a failed experiment. You rolled the dice. It's not working out. Sorry. Bring some other bozo in. It's just not good enough. Do better. All right. But they, of course, will they do that? Yeah, everyone's afraid. Oh, we can't change. Anyway, let's hear from Cliff Kingsbury, the man that should be on the hot seat. And he said, listen, the Cardinals were tentative.
Tough against a really good team, there's no doubt. I thought Stafford, once again, was efficient, didn't make any mistakes. Sean did a great job mixing up the play calling. And so when you get behind and we were kind of playing on our heels at times offensively and defensively, it just makes it tough to right the ship.
Yeah, so they were not ready to play. The coach just admitted they were not ready to play. Here's more from Cliff Kingsbury, who points out the better team won the game.
There's only one way to experience playoff football, and that's to go through it. And unfortunately, we didn't, play our best game. And I thought LA played a great game, had a great plan, and outplayed us and outcoached us. But I think you just got to go through these moments and learn from it and grow from it and use it as motivation.
Yes, that'll be motivation when you're back coaching in the Big 12 or somewhere else, maybe the Pac-12. All right, here's Kyler Murray, the little guy. Here's Kyler pointing out that, he sucked.
Prepare all week, all season, to be where we are, and then, the game wasn't competitive at all. So it's disappointing that we didn't make it a game, and come out and play the football we know we're capable of playing. That's really the most disappointing part.
Well, he sounds like, did we wake him up? I mean, jeez. Holy cannoli. All right, here's one more from Kyler Murray. He's got very small shoulders, and he said that's a problem.
You know how I am. I put a lot on my shoulders, put a lot on myself. And, to dream of this moment and then, be in the playoffs, first game of playoffs, and then to play the way I did, to play the way we did, it's like I said, it's disappointing.
I thought it was great. I loved every second of it. I wish the game had lasted longer. I was enjoying. I was reveling in this. I was texting all my buddies who were bashing Stafford. Well, most of them. I didn't hit everybody.